Good morning, everyone. Today, you're going to get a lesson on how to write a conclusion paragraph. So, when we are writing our conclusion, we are not introducing any new reasons or details here at all because we're trying to wrap it up. So, our goal is to just end strong and wrap it up with a nice, pretty bow, but also to kind of like leave the reader just kind of a taste for like really thinking about your topic. Your conclusion should be 3 to 6 sentences. You want to keep it super short, but not so short that it's only like 2 sentences. I even think three is a little bit too short. I think for fifth graders, you should be up to like 5 to 6 or just a tiny bit more. You don't want to have it the same length as like a body paragraph. Okay. So the required conclusion parts are the first part is you're restating your blueprint thesis. Remember when we learned Peel, it's the same idea. So you're just restating that blueprint thesis, your claim, plus your reasons, like literally copy your thesis statement. The second part of the conclusion is telling the reader your so what. What is the importance of this topic to schools? Remind them about the big ideas. And then the last sentence could be the final takeaway or a call to action. You could also conclude in other ways that might be kind of cool. So see if you can try doing any of these. These are kind of really fun ways to conclude. So the first way is challenging the reader to just think about the issue a little bit more. Encourage the reader with a call for action. Make them do something. Write a hope or a wish for the reader, like, I hope you blank, or I wish that all citizens would blank. End with a strong feeling of compassion or love or hope or something like that. And a final takeaway moment or comment is another thing you could conclude with. These are my conclusion no nos. Never, ever, ever end your conclusion with saying the end. That is not scholarly. It sounds immature. And secondly, you're not even writing a fiction piece. This is a nonfiction serious essay. I hope you never end by saying, hope you like it. Oh my gosh, that's not a sophisticated way to write. The next one is saying bye. No, we are not text messaging, friends. This is an essay. You never end with bye. And then the final way you should never end is by adding new reasons or evidence. That's a no no. Remember, you're doing all this in your body. Here are a couple of conclusion examples I want to show you. Here's the question I want you to think about. What type of conclusion did these writers try? See if you can label it. Okay, here we go. So this is the first one on uniforms. This is the conclusion. Notice it's a tiny bit longer than some of these. Here we go. In conclusion, it is evident that uniforms should not be used in schools because of the following reasons. Researchers have found no positive effects on safety. 2, it limits students' freedom of expression. 3, uniforms can be very expensive. So, what did they do right there? What is the first part of that formula I taught you? We're restating the blueprint thesis, the claim and the reasons. Okay. So let's see if they did the second part, which is the so what? Like, why is this important? Or if they did any of these challenging, encouraging, all of that good stuff. Here we go. This argument is important because a student's individuality and basic freedoms are at stake. This debate will affect almost everyone attending a public school today, or someone you know who is attending a public school now or in the near future. It could even affect the future generation of children in your family. So, those are just 3 sentences actually that are giving me the so what. Okay, this is the why it's so important to schools, to kids, to parents, to families. Okay, so they did that. I am really sorry that my cursor keeps doing that. All right, so now we're on the last part. I hope your final takeaway is that uniforms do not make students better in school or help students positively in too many ways. In fact, the cons of having uniforms heavily outweigh the pros. When you're asked to decide on uniforms or no uniforms, make the wise choice: no uniforms. So the way they ended that was like a kind of a little bit of a hope or a final takeaway, and even a tiny bit of a call to action when they said, when you're asked to decide, say no, make the right choice. Um, so these are a couple. This kind of conclusion is a little bit of a hybrid. A hybrid means that they try to different lots of different ideas mixed together. So that's something you could try. There's no right way or wrong way to do this unless you do some of these no-nos where you're adding more info and stuff like that. But you can mix it up a little bit. All right, conclusion for chocolate milk. In conclusion, I believe chocolate milk should be served in schools because it is healthy and is very popular among students. I hope, okay, first of all, what did they start with? See if you can grab a dry erase marker or a notebook paper and write it down. What is the first sentence? What do they do? And I'm going to reference that to help you. Hopefully, you all said the blueprint thesis. You just restated the thesis. I hope that more parents in schools realize that sometimes it's more important for your child to develop healthy bones than for them to drink an extra few grams of sugar at school once a day. All right, that second sentence is, what did they do? Write it down. They said a hope for the reader. I hope, and it's actually a really good hope. It was very like sophisticated and well written and really made me think. All right, last sentence. So, make the smart choice and give chocolate milk a chance. Now, what did they do there? Was that a challenge? Like make the smart choice, encouraging the reader with a call for action? That kind of was a little bit of an encouragement, like make the smart choice, making me go and do something. Okay. So I think she ended with some encouragement. All right. See if you can do this next one on your own and see how they ended it. This is also about chocolate milk. I'm going to I'm going to read it out loud, but I want you to pause if you want to read it on your own and write it down on notebook paper. What did they try? I very strongly believe that chocolate milk should be an option to students of this generation in school lunchrooms because, one, it is an extremely popular drink among children and several health officials. Two, it provides necessary health benefits, vital means important, to the development of young children. I hope that all schools take into consideration the most important facts about chocolate milk and those that banned it look back on their decision and in the end decide to change it. Okay. So, when you're asked by your school whether you are for or against the option of chocolate milk in your school lunchroom, you are expected to answer to the most logical side of the argument. Yes, all schools should serve chocolate milk in the lunchroom. All right. You can pause my video if you want to reread and write down what did they try. All right. All right. If you are unpausing the video, I'm going to give you some answers. So be ready for that. So they started with restating their blueprint thesis. Right here, I see them doing a little sentence about I hope. And then here, they also did a call to action. So these two are very similar. Okay. So your job right now is I'd like for you to go to your online writer's notebook. And right here in this conclusion section in green, the directions are right here. It says type out two different ways for your conclusion and just try it out. So try out one way here, like how would you try out an ending? And like how would you end it basically? What are the different ways you could possibly try? So think back to what I taught you here. Do you want to end? Obviously, you need these three parts, but maybe a couple of these, the number three could be one of these creative ways, or you could blend some together. But everyone should always start with the blueprint thesis, and you should say kind of why it's important, and then maybe kind of decide at the end how do you want to end it. I would say try to do a challenge, like challenge the reader encourage a final call to action, give them a hope or a wish, and any kind of feeling, like a strong feeling, or just any kind of final takeaway. Okay, so choose from that. All right. I am going to go back to the online writer's notebook. Okay, so once you try out your two ways, there's probably one that you're going to like really much better, or it's going to be stronger, or you're just going to feel it more. Second direction says, after trying out two different ways, highlight the one you would like to go with for your draft. And once you do that, you are done with writing for today.